Good morning, trade pros, and welcome to our morning market update for Tuesday, December 11th of 2018. This is George Papsov, Trade Pro Academy. It's Turnaround Tuesday today, which is actually a statistical phenomenon in the market. This works 100% of the time. Just kidding, nothing works 100% of the time. And basically, Turnaround Tuesday means we get a little bit of rebound from what we saw leading up to it, or it's a bullish turnaround. All right, and we could see it already happening in the market. Today, we're going to talk about this Brexit vote yesterday, what it means for the market, and also going to talk about a huge event of one of the tech companies today, and a lot more. So let's get started into it. First, order of business, the morning market fun fact. All right, this is fun. On this day in 2008, fund advisor Bernie Madoff was arrested by federal agents and accused an SEC and FBI investigations of a multi-billion-dollar fraud. This happened today in 2008. All right, and stemming from the joke, did you hear about Bernie? Yeah, he made off with a lot of money. There's your fun fact. S&P 500 overnight price levels. S&P closed at 2640 half and formed an overnight low at the 28 quarter. So we had some downside right off the open here in early trading in Asia. After hitting a low overnight, we rallied above the previous day's high of 2648 half, and we're now also above the 10% correction level for the S&P 500. And in fact, we just recently also broke the 2018 level, which means we're now green for the year. We broke it, retested, not anymore, and it's gone. Those of you that watch South Park, it's a hilarious episode. And that level's gone. But we broke that overhead resistance, and we had enough bullishness to get there. And I think that's a strong resistance level today. And I think markets are fighting to finish green. For this year, if we just finish green, even by 1 point on the S&P 500, I think that's going to be a win. All right, the next level to the upside is 2690 on the S&P 500. It's ways away, but if we can hold the 2018 open, that's where we're headed. 333,000 contracts trade on the S&P 500. That's your broad market index for the U.S. In the oil market, oil is up over a percentage point today. The prior low of the United States session yesterday, the pit session low was $50.53. It closed at $50.88 on the pit, and $52.08 is the next resistance, which is the previous day's high. We just opened 4 minutes ago, and then the first resistance to the upside above that is 52 quarter. 226,000 contracts have traded so far on SPOOs or on that oil, which is pretty good. All right, dollar index. Yesterday we talked about a support at 96.40. We literally bounced right off that support and reached a consolidation top around 97.20 area. For today, 96.90 is a really strong support for the dollar, and we'd love to see what it does around that area. All right, in Asia, Japan's down 0.3, Hong Kong's up 0.1 of a percentage point, China's up 0.4, India's up 0.5%. In Europe at midday, London's up 1.2%, Paris is up 1.6%, Frankfurt's up 1.5%. Strong gains across Europe, a little bit more of a seesaw in Asia, but Asia is the session that starts right pretty much the closest to when the S&P 500 closed. And we saw some seesaw action in Asian markets, but in Europe, it's really started to take off. And in the United States, we've seen 0.8 on futures so far on the S&P, 0.8 on the Dow, and 0.9% on NASDAQ. So strong gains across the board. It's a recovery, all right? Let's not get too excited, but we did a really good video about the Santa Claus rally this past weekend, and you guys should check it out, because what it says is I showed you all the months of December and their performance from 2014 to 2018, and the ones that had similarities to what's happening right now, because the Santa Claus rally tends to happen from middle of the month to the end, and we have had months with a huge sell-off with a very sharp rebound. Reading some materials and literature, a lot of traders are starting to expect a sharp rebound to the upside for the rest of the year. All right. I think yesterday, when we entered into that 2,500 range on the S&P 500, we had a chance to really let go of some sell stops, but all we saw were buyers down there. All right, the selling got absorbed, and in our day trading room, we had the opportunity to set that up as a bullish prognosis. We got on the bull side in the late afternoon, but in the morning we're short, and we did really good in the room. The whole team did good. We had almost 80% winning rate on yesterday's day. All right, 80% of the traders in our room were at least break even or green. That's what I mean by winning rate. Got to qualify that. Gold prices down a little bit. Bitcoin's down 5% this morning, down to 33.30. It's a weird number. Tongue twister. 10-year Treasury yields back up by two basis points to 2.88. Nothing huge on today's economic calendar. Actually, that's not true. We had the PPI, Producer Price Index. We're going to have a 1 p.m. results of a 38 billion 3-year note auction, but nothing else really. So watch the market today on technicals. Economic news, there aren't as many. And we're going to talk about the biggest economic news event of yesterday. Also, overnight, there's a little bit of increase of sentiment because Chinese leaders and trade representatives in the U.S. talk to one another. So it's showing a tendency or a willingness to cooperate and actually take this 90-day time frame serious in terms of negotiating some kind of trade agreement. So that's been bullish, that's been positive, and it's been putting more upside into the markets. All right. Now, let's talk about what drove the markets yesterday and what there was a little bit of concern yesterday. And at the height of this, the market was selling off quite rapidly. The Brexit deal is due at March 29th, right? So the people of the UK have voted to exit the European Union, and Theresa May is trying to deliver on that. And Theresa is my wife's name, but she goes by Reese. So I got to support Theresa May. If I get caught that I'm not supporting another Theresa, nothing will happen. She doesn't really care about that. Okay, so Theresa May wants to exit with she had a plan that she had negotiated. She put that in front of her parliament for discussion, and it got so little love that yesterday she canceled the vote. They were going to vote on whether or not they were going to accept this deal from the European Union. She said in her speech, if we did a vote today, it would not go through. We just wouldn't pass it. So she's like, we're not going to do that to embarrass ourselves and our government and our leadership. Let's just delay the vote. So they've delayed the vote. All right. She's now heading to speak with European leaders in the EU summit in Brussels on Wednesday. That's coming up. So we're definitely going to hear some more updates on that news. But if there is no deal that happens, here's what the possibilities are. Theresa May would most likely she wouldn't be forced, but there'd be a lot of pressure on her to resign because she couldn't get the deal done by the end of March. All right, a new general election in the UK or a new referendum vote, or a hard Brexit, which basically means you're not leaving on friendly terms. It's like, you guys have probably gone through a breakup before you met your significant others, or maybe you're going one through now. If you are, I'm sorry, you're not gonna like this joke, but it's like when you're you break up, like, look, I'm sorry, it's not you, it's me, but let's still be friends. It wasn't like that. It would be basically like, get out of my house and take your stuff and never come back. That would be the idea of the EU and UK divorce, but under the pretense of a hard Brexit, which means they didn't come to an agreement by March 29th. Under that scenario, the reason that it's so bad for the markets is that it's going to affect a lot of things. All right, it's going to be workplace shortages, worker shortages, lengthy delays at the borders, tariffs on goods, higher tariffs. A lot of companies will take their corporate headquarters out of there because of uncertainty. There's a lot of stuff that would happen that isn't ideal. All right, so that's why it's such a big event and such a big deal, and U.S. equities react to that as well. In fact, the pound was down as much as almost 2%, 1.98 yesterday. It closed down 1.13%. All right, so we're kind of tracking along this. It's a big news event, not just for Europe, but everywhere globally. Next thing on the morning market update we're going to talk about is Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai is going to be taking the seat today, and he's going to be testifying in front of the congressional hearing. He's having a congressional hearing today in front of the U.S. House Judiciary Committee. And his story is actually pretty fascinating. He immigrated to the United States with nothing. All right, he had nothing. He was an immigrant that came into the country. Worked his way all the way up the CEO of Alphabet. Alphabet is under Google, the umbrella of Google. He was one of the most prized, one of the most respected engineers in the company. His whole career took place there, and he grew through the ranks to be at the helm of Google, Alphabet. And what that means is that he's a tech guy. All right, he's a tech guy. He's probably a more quiet. I don't know. I haven't partied with Sanders. Sanders, call me. Let's go party. So I know, and I can give you an accurate review here. But he's a quieter, more tech resourceful type of CEO. Now he's going on the hot seat in front of the government. Guaranteed they're going to drill him with questions, and it's going to be very interesting on how he responds. I think traders and investors are going to be watching this congressional hearing very closely today. It's an open congressional hearing, and we're going to be looking for how he responds to things. Zuckerberg looked like a lizard on the seat. Remember? Zuckerberg was just unhuman. I think that was a robot they sent there. I think Sanders more of a human guy that will answer things a little bit more straightforward, which unfortunately could mean a lot of volatility for Google stock. If investors get wind of something that he accidentally says or says something, but it could be misconstrued, look for a ton of volatility in Google today during this congressional hearing. He's going to be asked about a lot of things. The handling of user data. There's a potential breach. Google is also shutting down their Google Plus social network. The question I ask is, who uses Google? What is Google Plus? Yeah. Like, I don't know. But they said they're shutting it down 4 months too soon, which means they're going to have to kick off their entire 3-user database. It's probably what's Larry, Sergey, and and Sander. The 3-user database. I'm laughing at my own jokes. I'm a little delirious this morning. And so they're going to shut that down 4 months early due to a data breach where third-party apps could access the data from Google Plus social networks. The good news is nobody uses it that much, so there's not that much data to access. So that's going to be in question as well. And in today's markets, we don't have any news. There's a congressional hearing with, like we just talked about, out of Google. The CEO there is going to be on the hot seat. We're seeing a little bit of a bid, and we think, wait, before I tell you what I think, we're doing something new here in the segment. Yesterday, I asked you what you guys thought the right move was, and you said sell the S&P 500. And I think you guys were right. In fact, I know we had a huge opportunity off the open to start selling the S&P 500, and we were short for a good ways down. And in fact, when the reversal hour came, we were like, you can get a reversal, but it still looks weak. And in the afternoon, one of our members got what, 30 or 20 point trade to the upside. It was beautiful. So let's talk about this. What do you think is going to happen today? I'd like for you guys to vote. Anyone that's in there, type it in the comment section of the YouTube video, please, and not the Google Hangouts chat, because nobody gets to see that. And yeah, and my back's turned to it, so I don't know what you're saying. Fact, maybe I could turn around. That'd be an idea, wouldn't it? Here's what I think. I think today we buy dips, and I think we're going to get a green close. We've already seen quite a rally overnight and yesterday as well. Yesterday's recovery was second to none. I mean, I think a lot of PPT, the plunge protection team, was out full force, but we soaked up the selling and we rallied up. I think we're going to try a little bit more upside. The only danger in that bullish theory this morning is that it's already gone up a lot off the lows. And I mean, look, I'm going to spoil the institutional trade for you right now. All right. It's this. It's sell the Asian Open and buy the European Open. It's worked like a charm. So for you overnight traders, it's all you've had to have done last couple months. Now that I've told you that on YouTube, it's not going to work anymore. So because, all the guys, the CEO of Citadel, just like TRADEPRO just said, they leaked their secret. Let's shut her down. All right. That's what I got for you. I'm looking to start bullish, but I'm going to be cautious bullish because it's gone up a lot already, and I don't want to jump in late and buy the top. That's not how you trade like a pro. You don't want to be buying tops. All right, so look for a dip. If that dip comes on heavy volume, then probably don't look for a long. Look to sell rallies. But if the dip is weak on light volume and it's shallow, it's a good long opportunity to start the day. And from there, follow momentum. All right, you guys have yourself a great day. Manage your risk, trade like a trade pro. Tomorrow's Wednesday, and it means it's what, Marky? Crude oil inventory day. We love crude oil inventory. You're missing it? Why? I'm wearing the Santa hat. Might as well do so. Oh, man. Well, Vicky, we'll trade for you. Don't worry. I'll give you 10% of what I make. Yeah, exactly. You might be. That might be a bad op. I haven't traded well the past 2 oil inventories, to be perfectly honest with you. So Victoria's laughing at me. It's okay, Victoria. AKA, you'll have to owe me 10% of what I lose. All right, trade pros, take care, you guys. Manage your risk, trade pro out there, and hopefully we get to see you in the group. Take care. Ciao.